Hello, everybody. It is Chris Hamilton here with salestipaday.com, and I am getting set to prepare this presentation for you. It is being put on by Clearview Plumbing and Heating, and unfortunately, I do not have Kyle Lumsden from Clearview Plumbing and Heating with me here today. He is tied up in a service meeting with all his people, so I've got to actually do this on my own today, but I'm sure if he was here, he would welcome you. As you may be aware, I don't know if you've seen this or not, you may be connected to Kyle through LinkedIn. Kyle is one of your best My Nest partners, and as such, he and I had discussed putting on webinars to help you guys out with your marketing and sales needs, and that's how you got to being on this webinar. So now, if you take a look down below, there is a chat box that you can get a hold of me in, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a quick message in there as well. And also click the play button to watch the broadcast. There we go. So that said, the other thing too is you can text me at, and I'll put the number in here. There we go. So if you need to text me, you can use 403-630-1243. I will not be answering the phone during this broadcast, obviously. We'll get started here in literally about 20 seconds. Let's see here. So I've got my phone here. You've got questions down here. We've got a few people on the actual broadcast page, and there's a few people on YouTube right now as well. So this is great. We've got, I'll bet you, well, there's quite a few of you guys jumping on and stuff like that. So what I'm going to get into is I'm going to get into how to get thousands of dollars in advertising for free for your home listings. And this is just the premise behind this is I had put my house up for sale in Discovery Ridge. I'm going to say, let's see, I have a 5-year-old. It was five and a half years ago. So I was trying to sell my house. It was actually about 6 years ago, trying to sell my house. And I was having a tough time getting it sold. So what I did was I kind of just thought, what can I do to potentially promote my house? So what I did was a few things that you're going to learn today, and I'll show you the results of this. And it was an experiment, and it seemed to work. At least it drove traffic to my home listing for my realtor. Now, this is a process. It'll be mapped out. And if you have any questions, let me know. So I'm going to go through a few things first to start with. And so this is food for thought. This comes from the Realtor.org website. They're probably stats that are more connected to the US, but you know what? Probably between Canada and the US are very similar. I don't know if you know this or not, but 39% of resellers who use a real estate, sellers who use a real estate agent found their agent through a referral or friend, through family as well. 25% used the agent that they had previously worked for to buy or sell a home. So basically, if you put those two numbers together, that represents 64% of all transactions, about 2/3 of all transactions, which happen through referrals or someone that you've worked with in the past. So a couple of quick stats here, or a couple of quick things to take away from this. Let people know what you do, especially family and friends. And the other thing too is any clients you get, make sure you keep in contact with them. And I think what I'll do is one of these future broadcasts, I use Contactually, and Contactually is it's a client relationship management program that has kind of pivoted. They've really focused on the real estate agent marketplace. And I'll see if I can get these guys to come on. I do webinars for them all the time, but I'll see if I can get someone from Contactually to jump on and talk specifically about real estate agents. And it's a great way to keep in touch with people that you've previously worked with or current clients as well. Here's the other thing. The average realtor is on 9 buy or sell side transactions per year. US numbers, once again, about 5,000 and change per sale. So the average income's about $45,000, $46,000 a year for the average agent. And I know all you guys sitting on here right now are not average, so hopefully you get higher than that. The other thing too is 73% of past purchasers would use the same agent again, yet only 25% did, which, if you take the difference here, 48% of realtors miss out on what I deem to be easy sales. So once again, trying to stay in touch with your past clients is an absolute must, because 73% of them would use you again. And I believe the average house sells every 7 years. I could be, someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, but one of the stats I saw was that it's every 7 years. So think about it. If you start today, sell a house, 7 years from now, on average, your clients are going to start doing this. Within 7 years, you can easily just double your business. 14 years, you can triple your business. I mean, it's crazy what you can do. So anyways, that said, just a few stats, food for thought that for you guys to think about as you go forward. So now what I'm going to go into is I'm going to talk about my social media marketing results. So this is how I drove traffic to several sources to promote my house that was up for sale. And I'm going to walk you through this process. So now there were 3 platforms that I sent it to. So you got to remember, this is 5.5 years ago, 6 years ago that I was trying to sell my house. So I put something up on a site called Slideshare.net. I put it up on YouTube, and I put it up on something else called Scribe.com. And Scribe.com it exists, but it's a lot different than what it was a few years ago. So I don't really go into Scribe all that much here today, and I didn't get huge results off that as well. But if you take a look just between these two, between YouTube and Slideshare, I got almost 5,000 people, basically up until a couple of days ago when I put this presentation together, that had seen my either my presentation or my video on my house. And here's where the magic comes into play. So this is a screenshot from Google AdWords. And basically, if I were to advertise for a Calgary home for sale, house for sale, I'd be spending about $2 a click right now. That varies. It goes up and down between kind of 180, 220, somewhere in that range. If you look at new home for sale in Calgary Northwest, you're talking almost $8 a click. I have a stat later on here because I did this presentation. I stole a few slides from this presentation I did a while back. But it was like Southwest Calgary home for sale is close to $13 for. So now let's just use these numbers right here. With the 4,991 clicks that I had, and you apply $1.99 or $7.86, that's between almost $10,000 in kind of costs that I didn't have to incur, and almost $40,000 in costs that I didn't have to incur. And it's free traffic to promote my my house that was up for sale. So here's the steps. This is really simple. It is first thing you do, create a PowerPoint or a Keynote presentation. Keynote is the Mac's equivalent to PowerPoint, but create some form of a presentation. You can even go online and create a Google presentation if you want. Doesn't matter. Just create a presentation. Then you add it to Slideshare.net. You add it to YouTube, and you can also add it to other social media sites if you want. Then the power of how I ended up driving so many people to looking at my house that was up for sale was I used a tool called Social Oomph, which has a free version. It also has a paid version, and I'll get into the differences in that in a couple of minutes, just to explain why you'd want to go with the paid version. To set up a recurring tweet that went out on Twitter on a regular basis, pushing people back to my house listing. So anyways, don't worry about all this stuff. I kind of break it down and I go into each step as I go through this. So first thing is creating a presentation. So this is the presentation that I actually used for my home. Now it was probably, I think it was about 13, 14 slides long. But I made it in Keynote on a Mac because I'm a Mac user. And I just went through and I said, here's the house. Then here's the master bedroom. And I listed off a few things on the master bedroom that were there. I went through bedroom by bedroom, down into the living room, the kitchen, the basement, a whole bunch of different things. So I added a whole bunch of information into a presentation. Now, here's some tips that I've got as it works for a presentation. Most people use a professional photographer to take pictures of their homes. If that's the case, use all the photos that you can, or use the best photos that you can, put them into a presentation, no different than what I've got here. Just put a picture up, put some information up as well. Do a write-up on it. Make it short and sweet, bullet points. So what you can do is you go back to the slide. If you look at this master bedroom, it's all in bullet points. Don't write a verbiage or a blurb. And the reason being is because people are not going to read a blurb, but they'll look at the bullet points very quickly and see what the scoop is on it. And last but not least, put a slide in there that has your contact information. So at a minimum, you know, your phone number, your email address, your website, and also your name, obviously, so that people can reach out to you if they find it on there. So that was the first step, is create that, create the presentation. The next thing is to add it to slideshare.net. And so Slideshare, not a lot of people know about Slideshare. So Slideshare, it's a site that's owned by LinkedIn. LinkedIn bought them 2 or 3 years ago. And what it is it's a place where you can put up presentations for people to view, and then they go into that search bar and they search on this. So this is, you get to Slideshare by going to slideshare.net. And then in the upper right-hand corner here, you see this upload button. You click on that. That's how you get things started being uploaded on Slideshare. So one of the things, though, is to create an account. When you go in, you'll have create an account. You can, when you click on it, you can log in with LinkedIn, you can log in with Facebook, or you can create a user account if you'd like. You sign up down here. If you're using LinkedIn and you just click here, what it does is it brings up this box and says, do you allow Slideshare to have access? You know, people have seen this before, obviously. Click allow access and you'll get access to the Slideshare platform. So then what you do is obviously you hit this upload button and this little box pops up here, and you can drag a file in here, or you can select files to upload. Now, there's also something really cool. I didn't get into it in the presentation here. When you put a presentation up as well, if you put something up on YouTube, you can actually embed a YouTube video on Slideshare so that people can see it. So you can actually double dip if you really wanted to. You could create a presentation that you could upload on here. And then what happens is just create the first slide of your presentation, kind of re-upload it, and then include the YouTube video right after it. And it's pretty simple to do. The system will walk you through it, but I do that on a fairly consistent basis. So there you go. That's how you upload a presentation onto Slideshare. Now, when you get in there, the presentation picture will show up here. What's critical in this part is, especially with Slideshare, because you will get traffic coming from it, is create a title that is search engine optimized. So what happens is Calgary house for sale, and then put the address in here. Put a description in, but the first line, I think, with any of your social media, if you could do this, put the link in for the page that's on your website that is specific to the home that you have for sale. It has to start with HTTP or HTTPS :// and then the URL. Reason being is because then it becomes clickable. That's especially true in LinkedIn. I'll get to that in a second. Put a description in here. And the nice thing is down here, Slideshare has what they call this discoverability score. If you click on this little information icon, it'll tell you what it's all about. It just keeps moving up as you progress through until you get to a point where it's like, hey, this is super. You can, got the potential to get found. Put a huge description here if you can. I think they allow up to 5,000 characters. Pick the category. Typically, you're going to pick business. Make sure this is public, and then start putting tags in, specific tags. Calgary house for sale, Southwest Calgary house for sale, Calgary Realtor, Calgary real estate, home for sale in Calgary. All these different little tags that you can use, and that's how it's going to get found. This lead form, don't worry about it. This is going away in a couple of months. Once you've filled out all this information and you're comfortable and the score is way up here on the discoverability, hit publish, and it will get published. Now, the cool thing about Slideshare is the fact that when you go into, if you hit your profile picture up here, it'll say analytics. And you can go in and look at how your slides are doing. So in this case, I uploaded something and it's got 12 views here, 21 views here, 108 views here. You'll be able to see whether people liked it, commented on it, downloaded it, whole bunch of different things. If you click on this other tab, analytics, what's going to happen is it's going to bring up everything that you've looked at over a specific period of time, that people have looked at over a specific period in time. And you can do 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And so what I did was I picked this from January 5th to the 11th when I was obviously creating this presentation about a week ago with slide shots. And it just so happened on the 11th, I had a huge spike in traffic because someone tweeted one of my slides out. So it drove a lot of traffic to my site. But what you can see is, I get consistently about 100, almost 100 people a day looking at my different presentations that I have up here. So that's one way you can look at analytics and see what's going on. Down here, I'll tell you what your top content is and where people are coming from. The other thing too is that if you look at your uploads or you look at the page on Slideshare, there's this little analytics tab. And what you do is you just click analytics, and what it will do is it will bring it up based on same thing, certain parameters, but it's just for that presentation. And I'll get into this in a little bit, but this is how you can go back to your clients and, instead of being a realtor, be a realtor and a consultant. Go back and say, hey, look, I pushed stuff out. We've got this many tweets hitting. We got this. Here's how many people have looked at it on Slideshare over the last week. Here's what we're doing to make sure that you're getting found online. So that goes through Slideshare. So obviously you create the presentation, upload it onto Slideshare. You can also include a YouTube video, and that's a good segue into this next thing, which is YouTube. So my YouTube video, not a huge amount of hits on it, but I've got 402. So if you take a look, as I was talking before, SEO this, so I've got Calgary home for sale, Calgary house for sale, even works, 83 Discovery Ridge Boulevard Southwest. So this shows up on YouTube if you take a look at it. Now, here's how you upload a file. First of all, set up a YouTube account if you don't already have one. Then what you do is there's an upload button up here. You can click on that. Here's where, if you've created a video of your presentation or you got a video of your house, drag and drop it into here. If you've got a whole bunch of photos, you know what? You can go down here and create a video, present or a slideshow presentation of this stuff. And it takes almost no time to do this. If you've got like 20 slides, you can put it in. You can probably have that done in about 10 minutes and create the presentation. One thing I don't go into here is that if you have a Google advertising account, so AdWords, you can actually set up your YouTube account so it does what they call remarketing. And remarketing is if anyone comes and watches your video on YouTube, it will tag or cookie that person's computer. If you use the remarketing functionality in Google, then what you can do is you can create ads that follow that person around. So, and I'll give you an example of this. So you go to Best Buy, you look at a laptop. A couple of days later, you're over at, say, Forbes, and all of a sudden there's a Best Buy laptop ad that's over there. You go over to, some other website, CNN or something like that, and there's a Best Buy laptop. That's, and that follows you around. That ad follows you around. That's something that you can do through setting up Google AdWords, and then also connecting your web page and connecting your YouTube account into that. We don't go into the detail on that, but it's a great way to be able to market to people. So if someone actually were to hit, say, this presentation, I could have that picture up and that ad would follow them around. And I'd say follow it around for 3 weeks or something like that. This ad would show up over and over again for that person. And you're not paying for the ad to display. You're only paying when someone actually clicks on it. So it's a great little tool that you can use in your arsenal that very few people actually use. So there you go. So this is, when you upload the video, it starts to show up here. You can pick thumbnails that they've got. You can pick a custom thumbnail. Once again, make sure that you put a good title in that is specific to what you're doing. As I said before, first line, make sure that it's the link to the actual home listing, because when it displays and people see it, this is hyperlinked, so they can click on that. It'll go right through to that page on your website. If you have it and you're setting this up, make sure you click on this monetize to make sure that ads are turned off. So when you click on there, it says ads are on or ads are off. Turn it to off. Sometimes it's automatically set to on. You don't want those annoying pop-up ads. And the other thing too is if you have competitors who are using Google AdSense or AdWords to advertise, their ads may actually show up on your video. So make sure you turn that off. And last but not least, make sure it's public. But if you have a Google Plus account or a Twitter account, connect your accounts to your YouTube channel. Click these off, and then it will promote this out for you as well to the world. So that's how you set up the SEO portion. Now I'm going to go into a little tool that I think is really cool. So if you use Google Chrome and YouTube, there's a free tool called VidIQ, and what VidIQ does is you sign up for your account. Once you sign up, sorry, pardon me. When you display or when you go into YouTube, what happens is on the right-hand side, so we're in here, on the right-hand side, the VidIQ information will show up. What it does is it says, here's what you have to do to try to get your video found or make sure that it's search engine optimized so it has a better chance of getting found, and it walks you through a process, and it's free. It's a great way to beat out your competition. Now, the other thing too, so if you look at your competitors' videos and you have this plugin on Google Chrome, it pulls up and it starts to show you the tags they're using for their videos. So you can steal some of this stuff from them if you're trying to find keywords to add in your description in YouTube, which are the keywords are down here. So great little tool, and I highly recommend it. Here's the next one. I'm going to talk about Scribe. So once again, Scribe it's different now. It's more of a book site than anything, but I just thought I'd throw this in just because it's relevant to when I was doing this originally. So same thing. I posted up my presentation on Scribe. It got 318 views. So, quite when you start adding Scribe, YouTube, and Slideshare together. Back then, we didn't have Pinterest, and I wasn't even connected on Facebook back then or anything. So there's a lot of other social network sites that weren't out there for you to get connected onto. So that's enough just on that. Here's your social media platform tips. As I say, add the house URL at the top of the description that goes to your website. Make sure you add a description of your house that's keyword rich. And keywords being like Calgary house for sale. Put your name on there as well if you want. It's one of those things where you'll get found as well. And absolutely include your contact information on any of the descriptions that you have so that people can get a hold of you as a minimum. Like I say, name, phone number, email address. If you have a contact form on your website, you can put that on there as well. So now what I've gone through, as I've said, we've got a presentation. We've added this to Slideshare. We've added this to YouTube. I've added it to Scribe. My secret weapon that drove all of the results is a tool called Social Oomph. And how you find Social Oomph is you go to socialoomph.com. Now, I'll give you a high level on Social Oomph. What Social Oomph does, it allows you to run what they call recurring tweets on Twitter, and you can also post to Facebook, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. Now, caveat on this, I would not be posting to LinkedIn your house is for sale or your home for sale. That's not the appropriate area for it, but I'm just putting this in here to show you that it does connect into LinkedIn. These two, obviously, you could probably put your house up on these two because that's a little more appropriate than the business network LinkedIn. So with Social Oomph, what you do is you go to socialoomph.com. They have a free account. They have a paid for account. When you go to socialoomph.com, take a look through on the first page. When you land there, it'll show you what's in the free account, what's in the paid for account. I think the biggest thing that's missing from the free account that you get in the paid account is the ability to do these recurring tweets. And I'll tell you what that is in a second here. It's really straightforward. Really, once you get in, first thing you do is you connect your social media account to the platform. So you can connect Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn. You connect them into your account. Then what you do is you hit this posting, and it brings up three options: new text update, new image update, and new blog post. Don't worry about the blog post. We're not going to get into that today. We'll talk about a couple of these here. What you do is, if you're doing a tweet, then what you do is put your tweet in here, put the put the URL or the web address in there as well. And then what you can do is, especially with tweets, you only get 140 characters. So what you want to do is conserve what I call the real estate. If your link is like 100 characters long, what you do is just click shorten link, and it will take it and shrink it down with either Bitly, or they have their own internal little system, brings it down to, I think it's like 18 characters long. So it gives you a lot more real estate to add more information in. Now, once you do that, this gives you a bunch of different options of what you can do. What I do is I use publish the update at an exact time and date. If I'm sending one tweet out, if I want this to go over and over and over again, I use this recurring publish update at a specified time. When you click on that, there's a drop-down menu. I'll jump ahead here really quick. And that drop-down menu, what it does is it says, what day do you want this to start at? What time do you want this to start at? How often do you want this to publish? And how many times do you want it to publish? And then you pick your account that you're going to send this out on as well. So that's how this works. Very high level. Don't worry about it. I've got a link to a video that shows you how to do this, and I'll get to that in just a second here. But once again, I just want you to understand conceptually, here's how you can do some of this stuff. Now, what is a recurring tweet? So first of all, a recurring tweet allows you to schedule tweets at a specific intervals for a period of time. So what you do is you have to use this kind of squiggly open bracket, squiggly close bracket, and the big line. And I'm sorry, my grammar is off. I have no idea what they actually call these in the real world, but you just have to use these. Now, the other thing too is Social Oomph has this little help button. If you click on it, it'll say, here's how you set up recurring tweets. So they'll walk you through it. So what you do is you put the kind of that first bracket. This is my first tweet. Then you put your link in. Then you put the big, huge line in. This is my second tweet. Put a link in, and so on and so on and so on. So you just keep doing this with the amount of tweets that you want, right? And then what you do is you put that into the box up here. And then what you do is you say, I want to schedule this starting at a specific time. I want it to happen every so many hours. And you've got anywhere from like minutes to hours on this thing. And I want it to run so many times. Now, let this be known. In this case, if I'm running something every 8 hours, I'm going to let it run 4 times. In this case, let's pretend there's 3 tweets that I've got going out. This first one will go out at a specific time. 8 hours later, this will go out. 8 hours later, this will go out. It will go through this 4 times. And so this tweet, if I set it up this way, it will run for 4 days. If I have 3 recurring tweets going out every 8 hours, it will go for 4 days. If I up that, it'll go for 5, 6, 7, how many ever days you want. If you leave this blank, it will send it out for affinity or as long as you actually have that Twitter account going. So I would highly recommend, this is the one thing that I absolutely love about Social Oomph, is that I can schedule this and put it out for a week. If your home sells in that period of time, it will run out in that week. Then you know what? You don't have to reset it again. There's other programs out there that once you set it up, it just recurs. It just keeps going, and you have to go back and figure it out and cancel it. This way, you've got this nailed down and you understand it. So that was the first thing, how to add a text. Now, what you can do is, because you've got pictures of your house, add pictures. So you can choose up to 4 files in here. It's got the image requirements. You can use that recurring tweet again or a regular tweet, and you just go through the same process that you were using before. And then what this does is it actually adds an image to your tweet. So I own an accounts payable and bookkeeping company, and I send stuff out to bookkeepers and accountants on a regular basis, and I attach an image in it. And I do it all through this functionality in Social Oomph. It's kind of a set it and forget it, so I don't have to keep jumping in all the time. So there's a huge time savings right there. The fact is, if you include an image on a tweet, it gets retweeted 150% more. You get 89% more likes, and you get 18% more click-throughs. So you want to include that image in there. Now, once again, very high level what I went through with Social Oomph here, but If you want to see a video on how to use it, I created, I think it's about 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long. I could be wrong on that, 10, 12 minutes, somewhere like that range. Go to bit.ly/SO_bid. And this is social owned vid. It'll show you a video that I created on that. I'll leave this up for a couple of secs. Once again, bit.ly/SO_bid. And you will have a step-by-step on how to use social oomph to promote out your stuff. Now, the other thing too, by the way, just to give you an understanding, if you do open houses, you can use Twitter and social oomph the exact same way. Is, hey, open house here at this address on this date. Come check it out. And then use the hashtag like YYC, hashtag YYCRE for Calgary real estate. And that'll get found, and that allows you. And so let's say it's Monday, you got the social, or you've got the open house coming up on Saturday. You know what? Set it to go out a couple times a day. And what'll happen is set up to go out for like 5 days, a couple times a day, and it'll push people towards getting at your platform, getting at your house or your open house. To get social oomph, you know what? Just go here, bit.ly/SO_2017. So bit.ly/SO_2017. And it'll take you right through to social oomph, because social oomph is kind of, it might be one of those harder words to actually spell. So SO_2017 with the bit.ly there, that'll take you through. So that kind of walks you through the vast majority of the process. What I wanted to get into is the tracking aspect of this, and then also how you can throw this out to your clients. So we've been at this about a half an hour. Sorry, it's taken a little longer than I thought it would, but I mean, this could potentially save you tens of thousands of dollars a year in marketing costs. So it's a great way to market yourself. First thing I would do is in Social Oomph, you can set up, you can connect a BitLink account. So if you go to bit.ly, because you've heard me say that a couple of times, set up an account, then you can connect your Bitly account to Social Oomph. And the reason why you want to do this is because if you can't really see this, probably Hubble vision, but for example, I've got links that I create, and it will give me statistics on how many times people have clicked on that link. Once again, I'm going to default back to, don't be just a realtor, be someone who consults with your clients too. You can run a scenario where I'd click, say, on this, and I could see all the traffic I'm getting over a period of time. I can take a screenshot of that, send it off to my clients and say, hey, by the way, you know what? Here's how many people are clicking on this. Here's how many people are doing this. Just so you know, I'm out actively marketing the heck out of your house. So this is one of those things. So connect with Bitly or bit.ly, BitLinks, and this way you can get all this stuff working in your favor here. So that's that. So just to recap on this, this is the math that I did. It's about 2-3 months old. So I used YouTube, Slideshare, and Scribe to get the amount of people that looked at my house. There's roughly 5,300. Calgary Home for Sale was running at $1.70 per click at that point in time. It's $1, as you saw, it was $1.90, $1.99 or something like that. It was 9,000 and change is what I would have saved on Google AdWords spending just by doing this. And by the way, it took me an hour or probably even less to actually pull this together. So it's huge and easy to do. The other thing too, new home in Calgary Southwest, $12.32 per click. What you're looking at is like $65,000 if I use the same numbers up here, is how much I would have offset in Google AdWords spending that I got for free. So if you look at this, if I'm selling 25 homes a year, I'm saving myself 225 and change up to 1.6 million in potential AdWords costs that it would have cost me just to drive people through to that site. So it's huge upside for you. Once again, I've talked about it a couple of times. The benefit to your clients is if you connect your Bitly account to Social Oomph, you can track the clicks over on Bitly. The other thing too is if you don't connect it, Social Oomph has got their own little link shortener. It's a dld.bz, and you can run reports over a set period of time to understand kind of how many clicks have gone through to specific links. And so what you do is you set the time parameters in here, you click download, and what happens is you get an Excel spreadsheet, and They've got the short link. They've got the area where it's, or the link that it's going to. When it was created, it's got the URL, and then it starts to show you the number of clicks that you're getting through on this stuff. So if you run that report, and you can actually schedule it, I believe there's a way to schedule it. If not, then you just run it once a week. You can say, hey, you know, between last week and this week, we've got this many clicks that came through to here. So once again, you're not just a realtor, you're someone showing them, you're out marketing your house. We got this many clicks on Twitter. We got this many things on Facebook. We got this, we got that, right? You're now truly showing value to your clients as to what you're doing to help them promote their house. So anyways, long story short, that is the entire presentation. I'll tell you what, contact Clearview Plumbing and Heating. So if you have clients that are looking for anything HVAC related or plumbing related on their house or their new home, or you need an inspection on a new home to see how things are, you know what, contact Kyle at Clearview Plumbing and Heating, or just use this number and you get through to their dispatch. You know, they've looked after my house for probably about 6-7 years. And Kyle's just a heck of a guy. He's a great guy, and his wife, Melanie, they both run the business. They will help you out. He is on your Best Your Nest program. And Kyle's the kind of guy, he'd be more than happy to talk to you on the phone. Reach out, ask for Kyle. He can help you with all this stuff and put it in place. So we still have a few viewers. If you want, you can text me at 630-1243, area code 403, if you have any questions. Or, you know what, if you want, just down below, there is a chat box, and you can ask questions there. And so I'll just stay on the line for, if I don't get any questions, for probably another minute here or so, and we'll go from there. So the other thing too is I don't know exactly what our next webinar will be. I will probably ask Contactually to do a quick half an hour webinar on how to use Contactually. Once again, it is a CRM tool that's specific for real estate agents. Fantastic. I use it, and I save myself, I'll bet you, anywhere from about 140 to 160 hours of productivity is what I gain from using the tool on a monthly basis. So basically, I'm doubling myself and my efforts on a monthly basis. And a lot of it is actually automated. It is a great tool to stay in contact with clients on an ongoing basis, and also to nurture your relationships along with your current existing clients, with potential prospects, and anyone that you know as well. Anyways, it doesn't look like anyone else is going to ask any questions, but if you have any questions after the fact, feel free to reach out to me, 403-630-1243, or chris@salestipaday.com. And I would be more than happy to jump on a phone call and talk to you about this sort of stuff. Have yourself a great day. Once again, you know, feel free, reach out to Kyle and Melanie at Clearview Plumbing and Heating for all your plumbing and heating needs for your current clients and any new clients. They're there to help you out, and they do a fantastic job. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, and thanks a ton for attending.